Okay, hi everybody. We will begin. Let's see if anybody else is joining. Okay, I guess not. So we will begin with the session. Now let's open our Excel file. So the Excel sheet that we were working on yesterday, the day before yesterday. So let's open it. Let me see if we have something else to look into. In that clinic form, if there is any question, I will first answer that. I believe no question. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen and we will open the same file that we started working on previously, and we will resume from there. Okay, this is our file. Everybody is ready. I hope you are ready. So 1 hour we will focus on this, or maybe till before 1 hour also we will be able to complete the remaining part of Excel training. And then we will look into introduction of Power BI. So in Power BI, I'm not going into depth because like I mentioned that the document that is there is itself a training document. So step by step you follow it, but at least I will give you how to start, how to begin. Okay. Some basic introduction and why we are learning that. I will talk on that a little bit. Okay, so I will go to steps and see what we had to cover. So we had to cover sorting data. Okay, and we had to work on pivot table slicer, dashboard, chart formatting, dashboard theme, hide, worksheet, and protect data. So let's focus there. I think it's visible to all. Okay, somebody was having some issue with this data where it was showing value. I believe it's resolved now. Who are the person who had this issue? Can you please confirm if you are here and the issue is resolved? Okay, I will move ahead then. So next we are going to look at sorting. Now, what is sorting data? Sorting on the basis of some increasing and decreasing order. Now look at the screen. We have suppose market, we have segment, market, country. So suppose you want to do some sorting here. Now everybody look here. I will do some sorting and then I will give you enough time to practice. So please pay attention when I am doing this. Suppose I want to do sorting on the basis of country. Now, when we have filter option, we go on the filter and there is a sorting A to Z or Z to A, correct? And then we have sort by color also. So when we have data labels where we have given some conditional formatting we have done, or we have some colors, then we can do the sorting on the basis of colors as well. So you go to this filter option. Suppose I'm going here for profit, and you see that sorting can be done smallest, largest, largest to smallest. Sorting can be done on the basis of colors. Filtering can also be done on the basis of color. So when you have added some colors, you can do the filtering on that basis as well. Apart from doing the numerical filtering. So when you have numerical data, it shows number filters, and when you have text data, it shows, you see, text filters. Okay, so I'm going here sorting, and now you see what values we have. We have Canada, the first, like the second row is Canada, then we have Germany and France, correct? Now I will go here and I will do sorting A to Z. Now all values, Canada is coming first. After Canada, okay, we have a long data set. Then France will come after France. So from A, B, C, D, it has got sorted in increasing order. If I convert this, if I go back and convert this to Z to A, now the sorting will be done from Z to A. Now the problem is that to sort one column, this is okay. Now you see that if I want to do sorting first on market and then on country, so I will do sorting on market A to Z. Now you see that the icon here, the sorting icon, you see this arrow, the icon is now in the market, it's not in the country. If I sort countries A to Z, the icon has come here and the sorting from market has been removed. That means at one time, we can do only one level of sorting while working on only a table. But we have, so this is called a single sorting. We have multiple sorting also. So in multiple sorting, we can select that, okay, first on which basis, on which data we should sort, second on which level we should sort. So there will be levels of sorting. So first, everybody, you try this out. Try to sort data on countries and then try to sort data on market and see the changes. Do anything, A to Z, Z to A, doesn't matter. Do any sorting. And give a thumbs up if the sorting is working for you. Okay, I get one thumbs up. Others? Okay, okay, great. Anybody facing any issue, you please let me know. I mean, this is a pretty simple one, but still. Okay. And now multi-level sorting we are going to do. Now in multi-level sorting, so suppose first I want to do sorting on segment, that first to do the segment on sorting, or maybe just market and country, let's focus on, because we have a set and subset, uh, like continents, and then we have countries, states, cities. So when we have a subset like this, we try to filter our data, we try to sort our data accordingly, a bigger set than lower set. So here we have uh, here we have market and country. So let's do sorting on these two. So go to data, and here we have in data, here you see there is sorting, sort. Click on sort, and now a pop-up will come up, a dialog box will open up. And here we are going to add labels. So right now it's my data is sorted on country. So country has been selected. I will just remove it to give a fresh start. And I will click on add label. Sort by, on what basis I want to sort? I want to do sorting on market, sales value A to Z. Now here you have option to go first or last. So on what order you want to do the changes, sorting, you select it. Now first level done. Now everybody look at my screen. I will give you time. We have market, sell value A to Z. Now add level. I will add a level. So you see it's saying then by. First sort by this and then by what? So then by country, cell level, and then A to Z or Z to A you can select. So let me just for like to just to see, let's do Z to A and then click OK. So when I'm doing this, everybody look at the screen. We have market first, E. So E is coming, Europe. And then after E, okay, too big. Then we have North America. And I think we have one more continent after North America. Okay, no, only North America. So you see the sorting has been done. First E and then N is coming, which is correct because this was increasing order. And you see the icons on the columns. It's saying that it's increasing order and this one is decreasing. So first G is coming in Europe. First G is coming, and then we are getting France. So G is coming, then France is coming. That means it's a decreasing order. Now after F, North America will start and then U is coming first. That means the first column, the market, has been sorted in increasing order A to Z, and country has been sorted in decreasing order Z to A. And this is what we wanted. Now you go ahead, do this. Use both. Please give a thumbs up once you're done. System is slow today. Okay. Close everything else. Excel and Zoom, keep only these two apps. look at your task manager, how many apps are open in the background. Okay. Okay, so sorting we saw, and now I believe that now think of, I'm not going to give you a particular question, but you see that the practical you think like on yourself that where you are going to use it, depending on the situation, depending on the data, you have to decide for what purpose we are going to use multiple sorting. Can be anything. So you want to look at market wise and then country wise total sales. If you want to look, then Europe, Germany, for this product, what is the total sales, what is the value. Now you can do you want to look at the top 10 records, so you can do the sorting by sales. Profit, top 10 profit, if you want to look at, or highest profit. Now you are not going to there are two options. Either you find the max of this column, okay, and the second way is to do the sorting. When you do the sorting, now suppose, for example, I am applying a third level of sorting. Here I am applying that you go to profit, okay, and largest to smallest. Then I would have my largest profit at the top. Amol, where you present in the previous session? Or did you go through the recording in the previous session? Okay, so what happened? Like, you don't have Excel file from previous one, or what? Like, what went wrong? I mean, I don't get it. Current network issue here. So, I mean, your Excel file should be on your own system, correct? And if it's a network issue, then how you are going to access it? Okay, okay, I will see. Priyanka, you are asking me to show sorting by zooming it. Okay, I can't actually, I can zoom the Excel worksheet, but I can't zoom this dialog box. I cannot zoom. It cannot be zoomed. Okay, the first sorting is by market. Second level is by uh, market A to Z, then country Z to A, and profit, sell value, largest to smallest I'm doing. And sorting option is there in the data tab, data, and then sort. I cannot zoom the pop-up or the dialog box. I can zoom the Excel worksheet, but not that part. It's not an option. Okay. Okay. I am sharing this file in WhatsApp. Okay. Amal, please download it from WhatsApp. Okay, I just shared. Now, Priyanka, I believe you can get the sorting part. I really can't zoom the dialog box. This cannot be zoomed into. Uh, Now we have done sorting. So this is covered, and I believe that you understand the value, why we are doing this. Now we will move to pivot chart slicers, and we will create some dashboard. Okay, everybody. So pivot charts are used to summarize the values. Okay, by rows, by column, we try to summarize the values using pivot chart, or people also call it pivot chart. So whatever you would like to call. Now, when we have a table, so when we have a table design, we can actually go to table design tab, and here we can see there is an option summarize with pivot table. Okay, I'll click on it, summarize with pivot table. And now just look at my screen. I went to table design. I went to summarize with pivot table. And here it is asking what is your data range? What is your table that you want to summarize? Now, since I had given name to my table, that name was my table, and hence my table has been is showing up here. If you do not give a name, it will show up. It will show a range of data from A1 to whatever the uh, last values are. Okay. Now it's asking, where do you want to create a pivot table? So I would suggest always create a pivot table in a new worksheet, not in existing one, because on existing, if you want to create, then it will create somewhere into this sheet only. So create a new worksheet. By default, it will be new worksheet. Just click it over there and then click OK. And I will have a pivot table like this. Now you try this out. First, you create a pivot table, and then we will use it further. Okay, done. Okay, great. Okay, now you remember in our previous quiz, there was a question that which field doesn't belong to, which of these doesn't belong to pivot table fields. So on the right side here, we have pivot table fields, and you see we have filters, columns, rows, and values. The incorrect option or the incorrect answer, there was table. So in pivot table, we do not have a field called table. And this area, you see, this area is our pivot table. If I click outside, it's nothing. You see the tab, last tab is power of pivot. If I click inside it, then pivot table analyze and design will come up. And also pivot table fields will appear when I click on pivot table 1. The first thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to give it a name, and name I will give on the basis of what I want to do. So let me go to steps, and we have not given any name. So let's give it any name here. Okay, in pivot table. So what do you want to analyze? So suppose we do not have, okay, we have date. Okay, so let's say gross sales, sales and profit, sales and profit by market. Okay. Okay, first, very simple. So we will do gross sales by date. So you see, I go here and in pivot table analyze, first I will give a name, gross sales by date. Pivot table analyze, click on the pivot table, then pivot table analyze, and then you can rename on the left side. Give any name. It's just to identify. Later on, we will need somewhere where we will try to differentiate our different pivot tables. So by name, we will differentiate it. For the identification, we are writing a name. If we do not write a name, by default, it will take pivot table 1, pivot table 2, 3. And looking in a list, it will not like, you have to remember that what is in pivot table 1 or 2. But by giving a name, it will be more clear. Now you see that we need to drag fields between the areas, and let me see if I can enlarge this. I can't. This will also not get enlarged. So the pop-up areas will not get enlarged. Nope, different page layout also will not work. Anyway, let's deal with it. So what I want to do, gross sales by date. Now date I will bring. So gross sales we have. Gross sales, suppose we are doing on bringing, just click and drag and drop on columns. And then date on rows. Doesn't look nice. Gross sales, bring it on values. Yeah. So we have bring a date on rows and gross sales on values. Now a tabular format is also kind of a chart. A table is also considered a matrix on matrix chart. Not necessarily there will be only X and Y axis for a chart. A tabular data is also can be like summarized tabular data, not very big. Okay, now you see that since our dates, our year is into quarter and date format, so we have individual dates also. It's a plus sign which you can expand also. So if you expand, then it's quarter 1 in 2013, January. In 2014 also, we have only quarter 1. So we have data from only 2013 and 14 and from January only. So that is why it is taking as quarter 1. So instead of keeping it, we will just remove quarters, and probably we'll remove the year also. Okay, we have only date. We need to look into our values. Okay, it will go year wise. Let's take only year because this doesn't make any sense. So sometimes looking at our data also, we have to do the settings here or remove it. So year wise, I'm looking at 2013 and 14. The sales is showing up. Now we will try to create a chart. Okay, so far so good. You have got this year wise only 2013 and 14. and gross sales. Can I get some response if all is good?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now we are going to convert. So once we get a table, or like any, usually in pivot table, whatever the output comes, usually is in a tabular format only. It's a pivot table, so tabular format. Then we try to create a chart from this. So let's convert this into a chart. So to create a chart, click in the pivot table area, and then we have some options here: pivot chart or recommended pivot tables, or you can go to insert and also create it. But here, since we have a shortcut, we'll go to pivot chart, and what chart we want to create. Now Excel is recommending that we create a clustered column like this. Looks okay, but I will create a pie chart. And why pie chart? I will explain it. Especially a donut chart you can create. So pie or donut, whatever, like whichever you like, you can create it. And we have a chart here. Okay, why I created this? I use a pie chart or a donut chart. I didn't use bar chart because I want to study or visualize the comparison or the share of sales from each year. Okay, from the total sales. So my total sales is this much. Now, of what share of sales is coming from 2013 and what share of sales is coming from 2014? So remember this thing, that pie charts or donut charts are used when you want to show something out of 100%. So if the total sales is our 100%, one entire circle, then how much is 2013 and how much is 2014? So this is showing up sales from 2013 and 2014. If you bring your cursor, it will also give you the percentage. So you see that 78%, you go to your visual, I can increase this actually. So you go to your visual, you will see that 70% of the sales is coming from 2014 in the data, and remaining 22% is from 2013. Okay. Now, if you are not convinced with me that we should use pie chart, then you can use a bar chart also. You can see, if you think that, okay, bar chart is better, then you can keep it. So choice of the chart is entirely up to you. I will just tell you that, okay, this is used for what purpose. For example, when we are doing comparison between two different categories, we create a bar chart. But when we are showing something out of 100%, we use this pie chart or donut chart. When we are showing something over time, the changes over time, we use line chart. Can we make our own pivot table as per our analysis? What that question means? Are you saying that, okay, I have used here gross sales and year, and you want to create something else? Yeah, you can do that. I just took two values. Now we will create some more. But go for it. Create any chart that you want. By the way, a shortcut is, now you don't have to go to the data and create a new pivot table. You can just copy it. You see, I go here, I do Control A, I go in the pivot table area, Control A, Control C. Here only I will paste it. When I paste, the fields will get also pasted here. I will remove the fields and then I will start over. I will just start over, and here suppose I want to see, uh, I want to see, suppose market wise. So I will bring market and I will see profit, market wise profit. I can also bring country, market, country, and profit. So it's up to you, whatever fields that you want to select, go for it. Now everybody try this out. You create of your own choice, create 2-3 charts. Bar chart, line chart, a donut chart, table, anything that you want, you do this. Okay, before going there, look at my screen. Usually what happens, suppose here I have taken market and country and then sum of profits I have taken. Okay. Now we notice that here we have a subtotal. This is subtotal from Europe. This is subtotal from North America. And then we have our grand total. If you are creating a chart, then always remove the subtotal and totals. Okay, because suppose if you create a bar chart here, then what will happen if I create, just look at my screen. If you create a bar chart, okay, so it's giving us a suggestion that, okay, you go for clustered column. So let's do that. Clustered column I have done. Okay. Now sometimes what happens when when we have our subtotal or total, the range of this value gets increased. So our subtotal is into this value. It's very high, grand total. So this also gets increased. This is not on this data because we have again a different segregation. It's always a good practice to remove subtotal and total, grand total from our pivot table. And how to do that? To remove this, we go into our, everybody click in the pivot table and then go to design. And on the left side, you will see subtotal and grand total. You just need to click on do not show. So subtotal gone and grand total also gone. And we have our values like this. Now you do this. Now everybody, you try to create your own charts. Okay, take any, if you want to do product wise analysis, sales by product, sales discount by product, or discount by country, COGS analysis, country in different years, what is the sales, profit, discount, anything that you want to do analysis, go for it, do it. And even month wise as well, month or year wise, if you want to do that. And a segment wise analysis also you can perform. Okay, so get this done, sales by segment, sales by market, sales by country, all analysis you perform. And then we will again, after that we will see. Okay, so create a couple of charts. It's okay to create different charts in a single worksheet. It's perfectly fine, there is no issue. I mean, just remember that which table is for which chart. Like I am also doing the same thing. I mean, I don't want to create multiple sheets to get confused. At one place, I will keep everything. Everybody create at least 3 charts. Okay, create the charts and then create the the table and then create the visuals also. Give proper name. We will do some formatting on the charts also, but let's first create it. Okay, everybody now see here. Doesn't matter whatever charts you have created, ours will be a little bit different. So it's fine. Look at the screen now. Uh, now see that I am trying to do an analysis of product, total sales and total profit product wise. Okay. Here also I will remove, first thing I will remove the grand total and subtotal. Okay. Should not be shown in any of the visuals. Okay, here we have grand total, so I will also remove the grand total. Yeah. Now, everybody, please pay attention. Here I have two values. So the first thing that I will go to pivot table, and what it is going to suggest to me that you use a clustered column. Now I will create a clustered column, and you see that although it's looking okay, but there is a very big difference here. Uh, why it is a difference? Because the and sales has a higher margin, okay, higher values on an average, and profit has a lower value. So it happens that okay, if the selling price is $100 or 100 rupees, then the profit may be just 10 rupees. It's not like that our there is a 50% profit on all products. It doesn't work like that. So this chart, although it's correct, but can be improved. So I will remove this, and instead of that chart, I will use a combo. Now let's learn how to create a combo chart. So go to pivot chart, and the last option here is combo. I will go to combo, and then it is asking on what values, what you want. So right now it is taking by default a line chart and a bar chart for sales and line chart for profit. But again, it's showing up on a single scale. So that's why our profit is at the lower side, like at the bottom. So instead of this, what we will do, we can create a secondary axis. So we can have y axis 2 on the left and right side. So we can have a secondary axis as well. And once we have a secondary axis, even if we uh, keep a clustered column chart or something like, actually here line chart will only work. So in a combo, we have like combination. Now this looks better than the previous value, previous chart. And then when I click OK, I can look at my combo chart. Now you also please try this out, create a combo chart, everybody. Once you're done, give a thumbs up. A combo chart we are creating. Anything, any problem? Okay, I'm taking your silence that there is no problem. So I will proceed. Now, our charts has been created. Okay, our all charts are ready. If I click outside and then just minimize it a little bit, decrease the size. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 charts are there. And I'm using a donut chart, one is clustered column chart. Then we have this horizontal bar chart, and one combo chart I have. So 5 charts I have used here. Now, we will learn some formatting, how to format our charts. Okay. So you see that now on Microsoft Excel, we cannot create very interactive and very beautiful charts. We have some limitations, but and that's why we have our Tableau and Power BI. But here a simple analysis, simple visuals still we can create. Now, let's do some formatting. So in pie chart, you see here plus sign. I click on plus, and then it is asking, do you want to give a chart title or not? If you want to give, you can mention. If you don't want to give, you can just remove it. Okay. So suppose you want to give, so total, instead of total, you just mention that total sales by years. So we have done gross sales by year we are doing, or suppose total sales I'm talking about total sales by years. Now we have these two values. We can add data labels. We can add data labels that where to, how to show. Okay. Or legends if you want to show. Now in data labels, we can do some formatting. How to show the values? Should we show percentage? Okay. Or it should show value or not. Leader lines should be shown or not. So it's not showing up here. Legend key is not required here. Category name if you want to show or not. So you can do this formatting. You can do a little bit of position of these labels also. You can positioning of the labels also you can do. Okay. And series name if you want to give or not, then that's also you can try this. You can try. Now, once I'm giving, since I'm giving year name as well as the percentage, I actually do not need to show this legend. So I will remove the legend so that my graph will look a little bigger. Okay. And also, if you want to change some data, something, if you want to do some formatting like you want to do, you can get this done from here. So for now, I will not do the formatting. I will leave it up to you that you use your creativity and create and make the changes. These values also we can remove the fields, sum of gross sales. You just right click on it and then you can say hide value field buttons on chart. So I have hidden it. And now our visual looks a bit bigger, very big to be precise. You can also adjust the size. Okay. Similar formatting can be performed for all charts. I'm not going to repeat the same thing on all charts. So, but just explore a couple of things. So suppose sum of profit if you want to do. So sum of profit or these fields if you want to remove. Hide all field buttons. We have removed. Now give a proper title. Legend if you want to add, then give. Grid line not required. So remove grid lines. Okay. What else can be done here? Axis. Now in axis, if you want to show like both axes should be actually shown here. Trend line not required. Error bars and data labels are also very big numbers, so not required here. We can skip it. Okay. I will do the same thing for other charts also. You can also do it or you can ignore it for now. It doesn't matter much. Legends, if you want to show, then show it. Otherwise, you can just remove the legend because we know that when we have a single color, we know that this is a gross sale. This is gross sales or gross profit. So I can say total profit by countries. So if you give a proper name, then no need to add legends also. Profit by countries. Similarly, here I will say sales by segment. Sales by segment. So no need to give the legend. Here also we have gross sales by product. So I will also remove the legend from here, grid lines as well, and we'll say sales by products. For the last one, sales and profit by product. But here there are two numbers, so I will give the legend, and this time I will give the legend at the top, and we'll give a title, chart title, and we'll write sales and profit by products. Now my charts are ready. So everybody, please keep your chart ready. Now the next thing that we are going to do is to put everything onto one dashboard and create our create our dashboard. We will do now. So I will give you 1 minute to wrap up everything, like all charts formatting that you want to do. Okay, can I proceed? Can I get some response? I mean, even if you have created a couple of charts, that's fine. You can create many more. You can do some practice around that. Okay, I will proceed then. And now the last, I'm creating a new worksheet and I will say here dashboard or maybe sales dashboard. We are doing sales analysis, sales dashboard. And here I will bring my charts. So to bring the charts, we will have to just copy, select our charts, Control C. So I will multiple selection I will do at once and bring all there. So multiple charts I have selected. I will go to sales dashboard and here I will just paste it. I have the visuals. Now I will just adjust it a little bit. Adjustment we can we can try. We have sales by segment, sales by products, and sales and profit by products. Okay, and now it's up to you what how you are going to design it, how you are going to keep. Okay, just arrange. Just do some arrangements. Okay, once our charts are ready, so this is called a dashboard. On a dashboard we can have one or more charts. Okay, uh, now one important concept is slicer. Now first I will remove the grid lines. So I from view we can remove the grid line, we can remove our formula bar, headings, everything can be removed so that we have our visuals like neat and clean. Now I will add slicers here. And to add slicers, what we do, we will, so slicers are important concepts in when it comes to our data analysis or visualizer in Excel. Uh, click on any chart and why we use slicer. So now looking at the data, we have, suppose 2014-13 data we have, and we have all values. But if I click on one particular year, or if I click on one particular country, I cannot look at any other, I cannot see some changes. So if I want to look at, suppose in 2013, what was the profit in France? So I do not have any such chart here. So I will use slicer for this. So to add slicer, I will click on any visual. Okay, and then we'll go to pivot chart analyze and then insert slicer. So once I click on insert slicer, Now it is asking on what you want to filter these. How many slicers you want. So I want a slicer by suppose uh, want a slicer by segment. Okay. I want a slicer by market also. I will take country. Okay. And product is not required, but still if you want to take product, so I mean it's up to you how many segments you want to take. And once you have done that, once it is done, then you click OK. You can take year also if you want to do some year wise analysis. So we have years. Now okay, we have these many slicers. We have these many slicers, means we can filter our data on these parameters. So you can do some adjustments. Now up to you how you are going to arrange these things. Not necessarily you have to use everything, all parameters or all slicers. I just showed you that yes, we can add multiple slicers as well in our analysis. Market wise, although not required, but I have just taken it. Okay, just arrange your values, arrange your slicers. And now comes the important part, how to use the slicers. Okay. So you arrange anything that you wish to do here. Up to you. Now everybody look at the screen. We try to, now suppose if I select suppose year. So if I am doing 2013, if I am selecting, the value is changing only in the pie chart. Why? Because I had selected pie chart only to show to create this to create the slicers. So I need to connect this slicer with all these charts here. So for that, I will click this option, right click on the slicer, and then click on report connections. And then I will select all visuals that I want to make changes into by using this slicer. Okay. Now suppose if I select Montana product here, then you see that changes will happen in all. You see, changes are happening in all visuals. So this increases the interactivity in our visuals. For multiple selection, you can do with control, you can select. So that I did for just one slicer. Now everybody, please try to do this for all other slicers. Just right click on it and then go to report connections, and then connect all your visuals which you want to connect with this slicer. So do this for all slicers, please. Just right click on the slicer, click on the report connection, and then select the charts with which you want to connect. Okay, now see that if I want to look at all the values in United States, in USA, then I will just click on USA and all values from USA only will show up. Now USA, and I want into government sector or segment, then I have USA and government. So this is the value of USA in government. And here also we see that in 2014 in US government sector, what was the value, what are the sales, what was this into 2013. So these ads, basically the slicers are adding interactivity in our data. Once we have the interactivity, now everybody give a minute or take a minute and report the connections. You let me know if you have any question. Any question? Okay, I'm taking that as no question. So, okay. Okay, now we have created a very simple dashboard we have created. Okay, our data is also not very, it's also very simple. So for learning purpose, we have created this very simple dashboard. I believe you understand the concept. I believe you understand how to change that, how to format a chart, how to create it, and how to add a slicer, how to, like, basically with slicers, we are adding interactivity in our visuals. Now, the last thing is that that we give a title. So let's give a title. For title, you can just combine. So let me first bring everything. Like all visuals, if we remove, give me a moment. If we remove a couple of, oh yeah, it is moving here on the left side. So just some adjustment I'm making to make it in the middle. And then I will just take this area. I will, like these columns, I will merge it. And by merging, I will just give a title. And my title will be sales dashboard. Okay. So you can give any name. And I will give a theme. So theme is used. So I will go to page layout, and here we have themes. Themes is just like give predefined some themes we try to add here. I usually prefer, there is something called temperature. Let's see. Not showing up. Where is temperature? Okay, maybe not available here. In Power BI, it shows up. But you see, whatever like theme you want, you can use that theme. And also you can give a border, a background to everything. So you can, if you like to give a border, a background, so you can set that up. You can change the color of the page also. From the background, you want to customize it if you want to change the color of the page. So it's up to you what color you want to do, what color you want to give. Now change it as per your choices, and also give a background color to the page. Make some changes however you would like to see, however you would like to present your analysis. Okay. And now in your assignment, in your project also, you have to do something similar to this. So try to explore the data, create multiple charts on a single or multiple dashboards, and just try to present it like this, that okay, try to explain also that what you see here. So we see that okay, overall in 2017 and 14, what is the sales by each country, and suppose you want to focus on only US sales, then I will select US sales, and we see that 79% of the sales in US from the total data came from 2014, and the remaining 21% from 2013. The value of that 21% is, we have here 5.64 million of sales. And also we look at the highest sales is coming from a small business segment and Paseo product. Professionally, you can use any theme, really doesn't matter. Many times we try to use the theme which matches our company logo on logo color. So all companies, they prefer to follow a specific color pattern. For example, Facebook, their report, everything will be blue. Air Asia, everything will be red and white. Geo uses, I think, blue again. So their product, everything will be blue. Netflix, red and black. So depending on what your company is, or for what company you are preparing the dashboard, you it's up to you. You decide what you want to use. Perfectly okay. Okay. Any question here? Okay. Now, when we present our dashboard, or when we share our file, we hide all our raw data. I mean, we don't want to see others to look at our raw data, which may contain some confidential information. Okay. So in that case, everybody look at the screen. We will do some data protection. We will not remove, actually, we can't remove it. We will hide our data. So we have mini project. I will go on this worksheet and I will click on hide. I have hidden it. Market also I have hidden. So everybody, you can hide all other files, all other worksheets you can hide, apart from the dashboard. Apart from dashboard, hide everything. Can we make different dashboard for profit, or do we have to give everything in single dashboard? No, that's okay. You can create multiple dashboards. So maybe on one dashboard, you do sales analysis, sales dashboard. On second dashboard, you do the same thing, similar thing, but this could be your profit dashboard. So you analyze the profit of different products in different countries in different years. That's perfectly fine. In your project, you will create multiple dashboards. So one customer dashboard, demographic dashboard, something similar to that. So yes, you can create multiple. Okay, I believe you have hidden all other worksheets. So once hidden, go to review. Click on protect worksheet. . click on protect worksheet. And here it will say protect the sheet password. Now you need a password. Why we are doing this? By mistake, somebody can come and delete this. By mistake also can happen. So we don't want that to happen. So we'll go to review, protect sheet, and suppose I give a password 1234. 1234 and click OK. Then re-enter the password 1234. Suppose I am giving, for example, and then OK. And now this is protected. Now you see that I will try to make some changes. I will try to delete this. And it is saying that I cannot do because it has been protected. So nobody can edit this. So kind of we said we are giving after creating the dashboard, we are fixing it that nobody can make any changes. But the problem is when we protect the worksheet, these filters or slicers will also not be operational. Okay. So we will have to remove the protection. And to remove it, again, click there, enter the password, and then click OK. It will be removed. Then it will again start working. Just try that out. And next thing that we are going to do now, anybody, if you share this file with somebody, that person will be able to right click on worksheet and click on unhide and look at your raw data, confidential data. So we will try to hide that. How to do this? We will click on protect workbook. Now what protect workbook does, protect workbook prevents the structure of the data, the worksheet from changing. Structure of the workbook from changing. So click here and then set a password. It's optional although, but set a password 1234. Click OK. Confirm password 1234. OK. And now nobody can unhide or delete your worksheets. So although this feature will be there to select from the slicer, but nobody can delete any worksheet or make any changes. They will not have any access to your raw data. So before sharing your worksheet to somebody, please do this. Hide everything else and then protect your workbook. We can also add a password to the entire workbook from opening. So somebody who downloads your file will not be able to open it if password is not provided. And for that, we will have to go to file. In Excel, we will have to go to file on the file tab and then go to options at the bottom. Not options, where is it? File and info, file and info. And in info, we have protect a workbook option. So in protect a workbook, you can encrypt with password. So once you do this, I will not add this password right now, but once you do this and save, nobody will be open to this file and look anything unless a password is entered. So you can try that also, like if you want. But here I am just focused on protecting the workbook structure. Any question here? In calculation tab, what do we need to calculate in sum, average? Okay, I believe, okay, that's just for one you can ignore that. We are that just one I had added to explain something. We do not have to work on that. I mean, it is used for just for practice. I had mentioned that if you want to do some function, you want to look at certain values like and, or if you want to do an average of some columns like total cells. So you can add you can look at total cells of uh, in a column on the basis of some conditions. So for that conditions we had and or not. These things actually I'm not covering because this thing we will you will learn in Power BI also. So like here we use functions. Similarly, you will do this in Power BI as well. Power BI and also in SQL. In SQL, we have where function and or not. So you can explore these things over there. Logics are same in Excel as well as in SQL, Power BI. The logic works the same way. If else condition is everywhere and everywhere it works in a similar way. Okay, I will close this file now. Any question you can ask, else I will close and we will have a look at our Power BI also. So everybody, please save your file, close it, and we will briefly look at Power BI. Can I get some thumbs ups if you are okay? You are ready? Please open Power BI. Power BI desktop, launch it. I will just tell you that how you are supposed to work on this project. Okay, so you have to follow the exact steps, same steps, which are there in these labs. Okay, lab 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have to open the PDF file. Okay. Follow word by word, step by step. So it is saying prerequisite it's giving. So look at just the prerequisites are okay or not. It is asking you to create a folder like this. You can create, or maybe like in your document downloads also you can create, not a problem. Now data set, it is saying that, okay, what the data set is and what is the situation, what is the condition or business problem we are looking at. Yeah, and that's all. So in lab 0, we have only this thing. Now we close it. Lab 1. In lab 1, accessing and preparing data. So now it's talking about Power BI, some normal introduction it is giving. Now it is talking about the data, get data. So it is saying that let's start by looking at the data files. The data set contains sales data of Van Arsdale and other competitors. Now USS sales data in CSV file into this folder. So it is showing basically where our data is. So you go to DIAD, then we have data folder, and here we have US sales, international sales, and there is a theme, there is a background, and there is a logo. Okay. So just like it is guiding you, you follow it. So it's saying that open BI dimension XLSS file. Okay. Then go to your folder and open from US sales, open BI dimensions. You have opened it. Okay. Now go to your again PDF file and say that it's saying that notice that the first sheet has product information. Okay. It has header, category, column, numerous empty cells are there in category. So go to your data and go to product sheet and see that yes, there is indeed no various null values into this category. You remember on Excel file, we try to do flash fill. Now in Power BI, we will do differently. Fill down, we will use, and we will using Power BI, you can do this. So the step-by-step guidance you have to follow like this. Again, explore manufacturer sheet, geo sheet. So it is also giving you a screenshot that where is what. It is also explaining you that the first few rows are data details. Actual data starts on the row 4 and which is correct. If you look at the screenshot as well as in your data, we have the actual data starting from row number 4. Now it is asking you if you don't have it Power BI desktop, if you have it, then open it. And no need to do this. This is sign in option. You can ignore sign in option. Okay, everybody, please see here. If it is asking you to sign in, you can sign in for. You can skip it for now. So no need to work on Power BI service. You just focus on Power BI desktop. Now the actual process starts from here. Let's set the local to US English and make it convenient for the rest of this lab. Okay, so it is asking you to go to file, then option setting, and then options. Now I will open my Power BI. So this is my Power BI. When you launched it, you will see something like this. A pop-up, maybe a pop-up will come. You can close the pop-up. Go to file, option and settings, then options. Now again, go to PDF file, what it is asking. It's saying that from options, click on regional settings and then under current file. Regional settings under current file, and then from the local drop down, set as English United States. So I will open Power BI again. From current file setting, I will go to regional settings, and here I will make sure that it is English United States. Mine is there, so I will not make any change. But if in case yours is different, select English United States and then click on OK. Okay. And then next step is to load data into Power BI desktop. So we will load our data. So again, it's suggesting you to go to home, then get data, and then click on text CSV, and then select a US cells. So like this, get data, text CSV, and then go to your US cells. So locate where your data is, and in US cells, I am taking cells. And then click on open. Now your data will get loaded. It is asking that, okay, now again, follow everything, just follow the PDF document. And now it's asking you to click on transform data, then it will open in a Power Query editor. The same thing you can do, click on transform data. Your data will open in a Power Query editor, and here we prepare our data. So in Power Query editor is used to prepare our data. In Tableau, we have a different tool, Tableau Prep, to do data preparation. But in Power BI, we have just one feature in which we can prepare our data, we can transform our data. Now you have to just follow the steps here. Just follow the steps. Whatever it is asking, whatever it is explaining, please read it, because these things are also very important. The explanation is important. This document will guide you that, okay, why we are doing this, why we are creating a bar chart. It will give you proper explanation. Okay. At one place, now everybody, at one place, there will be some discrepancy. So there is one data value which will not match with the screenshot and whatever value that you are getting. So that one particular value will actually come into our second lab. It will come into our second lab in data model exploration when we are doing a couple of visualization we are creating. So here some of the one values will not be very exact same. You can ignore that. Okay, one total cells will come up somewhere. So you can ignore that error. You can stick with what you are getting. It's not showing up this value. This value might be different for you. Okay. In lab 2, step number 98. Okay. Now that would be all. I just wanted to show you that, okay, how you have to proceed. What is Power BI? So Power BI, you know that Microsoft created business intelligence tool, and how we are going to use it. You follow the steps and you will be able to complete the project. And again, the content has been created by Microsoft, so do not doubt it. It will give you a lot of learning, actually. More than you work on Tableau, it will give better learning. And once many concepts are clear using this into this project, Tableau will look quite easy. Okay. Okay. Any question? I'm done for the day. I just wanted to complete Excel and then give you an introduction of Power BI, how to proceed with the project. Any question that you may have? Okay, if no question, I will stop share. Yeah, so go work on the project. And tomorrow, actually, I was thinking that tomorrow we could have one training session for Tableau, but I don't want to rush into it. I wanted to give time to work on Power BI. Okay, so maybe tomorrow is Saturday. Spend your time on, if you get free time, spend time on Power BI and also complete Excel project. Give some hands-on to your next project also. So maybe on Sunday you can try to give some time on other projects, and we will see what is the progress.